Westchester County is a county in the U.S. state of New York. Westchester covers an area of 450 square miles, consisting of 48 municipalities. According to the 2010 census, the county had a population of 949,113, estimated to have increased by 2.5% to 972,634 by 2014. Established in 1683, Westchester was named after the city of Chester, England. The county seat of Westchester is the city of White Plains. According to 2011 U.S. Census Bureau data, the per capita income in the county was $47,814 and the median income for a household in the county was $77,006. In terms of household income, Westchester County is the fifth wealthiest county in New York and is the 47th wealthiest county nationally. Westchester County ranks second after New York County in terms of highest median income per person, with a higher concentration of incomes in smaller households. The county's location places New York City, Nassau and Suffolk counties on Long Island, and Long Island Sound to its south, Putnam County to its north, Fairfield County, Connecticut to its east, and Rockland County as well as Bergen County, New Jersey across the Hudson River to the west. Westchester is the first suburban area of its scale in the world to develop, due mostly to the upper-middle-class development of entire communities in the late 19th century, and the subsequent rapid population growth. History. At the time of European contact in the 16th and 17th centuries, the Native American inhabitants of present Westchester County were part of the Algonquin peoples, whose name for themselves was Lenape, meaning the people. They called the region Lenape-Hooking, which consisted of the area around and between the Delaware and Hudson rivers. Several different tribes occupied the area, including the Manhattans, and the Wet'quaesgeek and Sawanoi bands of the Wappinger in the south, and Tanquiteca, Sinsink and Kitchawank Wappinger in the north. The first European explorers to visit the Westchester area were Giovanni da Verrazzano in 1524 and Henry Hudson in 1609. Dutch settlers began arriving in the 1620s, followed by settlers from England in the 1640s. Westchester County was one of the original 12 counties of the province of New York, created by an act of the New York General Assembly in 1683. At the time it included present-day Bronx County, and abutted then Dutchess County to the north. By 1775, Westchester was the richest and most populous county in the colony of New York. Although the Revolutionary War devastated the county, recovery after the war was rapid. In 1788, 5 years after the end of the war, the county was divided into 20 towns. In 1798, the first federal census recorded a population of 24,000 for the county. Two developments in the first half of the 19th century, the construction of the first Croton Dam and aqueduct, and the coming of the railroad, had enormous impact on the growth of Westchester. The Croton Dam and aqueduct was begun in 1837 and completed in 1842, now a National Historic Landmark. The Croton Aqueduct is considered one of the great engineering achievements of the 19th century. In the 1840s, the first railroads were built in Westchester, and included the New York and Harlem Railroad, the Hudson River Railroad, and the New York and New Haven Railroad. The railroads often determined the growth of a town, and the population shifted from northern to southern Westchester. By 1860, the total county population was 99,000, with the largest city being Yonkers. The period following the American Civil War enabled entrepreneurs in the New York area to create fortunes, and many built large estates, such as Lyndhurst, in Westchester. During the latter half of the 19th century, Westchester's transportation system and labor force attracted a manufacturing base, particularly along the Hudson River and Neppahan Creek. In 1874, the western portion of the present Bronx County was transferred to New York County, and in 1895 the remainder of the present Bronx County was also transferred to New York County. These would later split from Manhattan to form their own county. During the 20th century, the rural character of Westchester would transform into the suburban county known today. The Bronx River Parkway, completed in 1925, was the first modern, multi-lane limited-access roadway in North America. The development of Westchester's parks and parkway systems supported existing communities and encouraged the establishment of new ones, transforming the development pattern for Westchester. With the need for homes expanding after World War II, multi-story apartment houses appeared in the urbanized areas of the county, while the market for single-family houses continued to expand. By 1950, the total county population was 625,816. Major interstate highways were constructed in Westchester during the 1950s and 1960s. The establishment of these roadways, along with the construction of the Tappan Zee Bridge, led to further growth in the county. Geography. Westchester County is located in southern New York. It shares its southern boundary with New York City and its northern with Putnam County. It is bordered on the west side by the Hudson River and on the east side by the Long Island Sound and Fairfield County, Connecticut. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the county has a total area of 500 square miles, of which 430 square miles is land and 69 square miles is water. Where Pelham Manor meets Pelham Bay Park in the Bronx, the southern border of Westchester is just under 11 miles from Columbus Circle in Manhattan. At over 2,700 acres, Pelham Bay Park is the largest of New York City's parks, forming a substantial buffer between suburban Westchester and the urban Bronx, while Van Cortlandt Park to the west acts as a similar buffer. Westchester's Long Island Sound shore is generally rocky, interspersed with tidal mudflats, marshes and wetlands, as well as several natural and artificially maintained sand beaches. Municipal and county-owned parks provide access to beaches, nature preserves and passive and active waterfront recreational facilities. Several large harbors lie along the shore including Milton Harbor, Mamaroneck Harbor, Larchmont Harbor, Echo Bay, and the upper and lower harbors in New Rochelle. A number of islands can be found offshore from New Rochelle. David's Island, the former location of the U.S. Army's Fort Slocum, is currently unoccupied but is slated for use as passive parkland. Glen Island is a county park. Huckleberry Island is largely undeveloped and has one of the largest rookeries in western Long Island Sound. Echo Island is used by a private yacht club. Execution Rocks is the site of a 19th-century lighthouse listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Columbia, P, and Goose Islands are undeveloped. Clifford, Harrison and Tank Islands are part of a nature preserve in City Park, while Oak and Pine Islands are used as private residences. The widest section of the Hudson River, at 3.6 miles, is found between the Westchester and Rockland County shorelines immediately north of Croton Point. In colonial times, this area was called the Tappan Zee or Sea. The Hudson River is tidal and brackish through Westchester and contains a small number of estuarine marshes. Two bridges span the Hudson in Westchester. The Bear Mountain Bridge crosses at Cortlandt and the Tappan Zee Bridge at Tarrytown. Municipal, county and state-owned parks provide access to waterfront landmarks and sites, including Croton Point in Croton, Kingsland Point in Sleepy Hollow and JFK Memorial Marina in Yonkers. The Hudson River waterfront in Westchester is in a transitional period, converting from primarily industrial uses to mixed residential, commercial, retail, and recreational uses. This transformation is most notable in Yonkers, Hastings-on-Hudson, Dobbs Ferry, Irvington, Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow, Ossining, and Peekskill, where redevelopment projects are in various stages of design and completion. In 2004, the county began a project to create Westchester Riverwalk, a walkway along the Hudson River of 51.5 miles which will provide pedestrian access between New York City and Putnam County. 32.9 miles of the route are complete and accessible. At 980 feet, the highest elevation in the county is a U.S. Coast and Geodetic Survey benchmark known as Bailey, in Mountain Lakes Park near the Connecticut state line. The lowest elevation is sea level, along both the Hudson and Long Island Sound. Westchester County is divided into 6 primary drainage basins or watersheds which are the Upper and Lower Long Island Sound, and the Bronx, Upper Hudson, Lower Hudson, and Croton River basins. Within these primary drainage basins are approximately 60 smaller basins, or subwatersheds. The principal streams draining the southern part of the county include Beaver Swamp Brook, Blind Brook, Bronx River, Hutchinson River, Mamaroneck River, Sawmill River, Sheldrake River, Stevenson Brook and Tibbetts Brook. The primary streams draining the central part of the county include Byram River, Kisco River, Mearness River, Mill River, Pocantico River and Silvermine River. The principal streams draining the northern part of the county include Dickey Brook, Furnace Brook, Halleck's Mill Brook, Hunter Brook, Muscoot River, Peekskill Hollow Brook, and Titicus River. The county contains several major reservoirs. The Croton System and the Kensico Reservoir are important components of the New York City water supply system. The system is a series of interconnected reservoirs and lakes in northern Westchester and Putnam counties that provide 10% of New York City's water, under normal conditions, and up to 30% in times of drought. The components of the system include the New Croton Reservoir, the Cross River Reservoir, the Titicus Reservoir, the Amawalk Reservoir, and the Muscoot Reservoir. Other major reservoirs are the Kensico and Byram Lake Reservoir, while there are a number of smaller reservoirs throughout the county. The Westchester County Department of Planning divides the county into north, central and south subregions. Geology: the rock that underlies Manhattan and Westchester is chiefly gneiss and mica schist, with layers of dolomitic marble and serpentine. Climate: the climate of Westchester County is primarily regarded as humid continental, and is somewhat cooler than the humid subtropical climate of New York City, sometimes by as much as 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Winters are cold throughout the county and summers are hot inland but cooler towards the coast. Precipitation is plentiful and in some areas reaches over 45 inches. Snowfall is more common in Westchester than in New York City, with the exception of the southwest of the county where snowfall is often between 40 and 60 inches. In January, less dense areas have a low of 16 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit and a high of 30 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit, while dense areas like Yonkers and White Plains have a low of 20 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit and a high of 35 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, this effect is much milder. Coastal areas have highs of 80 to 83 degrees Fahrenheit and lows of 62 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit, while inland highs will be 84 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit and lows will be 60 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds can be heavy, especially by the coast. Demographics: as of 2010, there were 949,113 housing units at an average density of 807 per square mile. The racial makeup of the county was 57.4% non-Hispanic white, 15.6% African American, 0.4% Native American, 5.4% Asian, 0.1% Pacific Islander, 7.6% from other races, and 3.2% from 2 or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 21.8% of the population. 71.7% spoke only English at home, while 14.4% spoke Spanish, 3.5% Italian, 1.1% Portuguese and 1.1% French at home. There were 337,142 households, of which 34% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 53.9% were married couples living together, 12.2% had a female householder with no husband present, and 30.2% were non-families. 25.7% of all households were made up of individuals and 10.3% had someone living there alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.67 and the average family size was 3.21. Age distribution was 25% under the age of 18, 7.2% from 18 to 24, 30.4% from 25 to 44, 23.5% from 45 to 64, and 14% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 38 years. For every 100 females there were 91.70 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 87.30 males. According to census data, the per capita income for the county in 1999 was $36,726. The American Community Survey lists Westchester in 2011 with the median household income of $77,006, the 47th highest in the country. The Census Bureau reports that 6.4% of families and 8.7% of the population were below the poverty line, including 26.53% of those under age 18 and 7.60% of those age 65 or over. Expatriates. As of 2000, several different expatriate populations lived in Westchester County. These include Australians, Brazilians, French, Germans, Japanese, and New Zealanders. The Australians, Brazilians, and New Zealanders had a preference for Scarsdale and a lesser preference for Rye. The French lived in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and New Rochelle. The Germans had a primary preference for White Plains and have also settled in Mamaroneck, Rye, and Scarsdale. The Japanese had a primary preference for Scarsdale and also lived in Eastchester, Hartsdale, Harrison, and Rye. Culture and recreation. Libraries. Westchester County is served by the Westchester Library System, established in 1958. The system comprises 38 public libraries. Historic sites. Phillips Manor Hall, built around 1682, is the oldest standing building in Westchester. It is located in Getty Square, Yonkers, and is operated by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation. The former Edwin H. Armstrong House is the only delisted National Historic Landmark in Westchester. Current National Historic Landmarks in the county are the Aaron Copland House, the Armour Stinner House, the Boston Post Road Historic District, the Elephant Hotel, the John Hartford House, the John William Draper House, the John J. Homestead, Kikuit, Lyndhurst, the Thomas Paine Cottage, Old Croton Aqueduct, Old Dutch Church of Sleepy Hollow, Phillips Manor Hall, the Phillipsburg Manor House, Playland, St. Paul's Church, Stepping Stones, Sunnyside, Thomas Paine Cottage, Van Cortlandt Manor, Villa Luro. Other attractions. Government. The Westchester County government is headed by County Executive Rob Bastrino, a Republican. The district attorney is Janet DiFiore, a Democrat. The county clerk is Timothy C. Idoni, a Democrat. Board of Legislators. The Westchester County Board of Legislators is the legislative branch of Westchester County. The county board has 17 members and is led by a majority coalition of 2 Democrats and 7 Republicans. The current board chair is Michael Kaplowitz. Law enforcement. There are currently 42 local police agencies located in Westchester County. as well as other county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies responsible for protecting Westchester County. These agencies frequently work with one another and other agencies. Emergency services. Westchester County has a wide array of emergency services and is the home to 58 fire departments, 42 ambulance services, 2 hazmat teams, a volunteer technical rescue team, a fire academy and a fire investigations unit. Each department has career, volunteer or a combination of personnel. Westchester County Department of Emergency Services operates the main dispatching system for EMS and fire departments, located in Valhalla. The department also provides numerous support services for the various agencies throughout the county. The Career Chiefs Association, a cooperative of career fire departments, also operates the Special Operations Task Force. The force consists of 6 squad companies that can be rapidly assembled for a major hazardous materials incident, CBRNE event, collapse or confined space rescue, or other incident requiring a large number of hazmat or rescue technicians. Over 700 firefighters, police officers and EMS providers were trained to be part of this effort and serve over half the population of Westchester County, including Yonkers, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, White Plains, Scarsdale, Eastchester, and the Fairview, Hartsdale, and Greenville fire departments in the town of Greenburgh. Politics. Although the county historically leaned Republican, it swung Democratic in the early 1990s, much like other New York City suburbs. In the most recent national elections, Westchester voters tended to be far more Democratic than the national average. In fact, Westchester, after New York City and Albany County, has produced the biggest margins for statewide Democrats in recent years. Democratic voters are mainly concentrated in the southern and central parts of the county. More than 63% of Westchester County voters voted for Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential race, the 7th highest percentage of any New York county. Currently, all 3 U.S. congressional representatives from Westchester County are Democrats. Nita Lowey and Elliot Engel represent most of the county. Elliot Engel's district includes parts of the Bronx and Rockland County, and Nita Lowey's reaches into Rockland County. Westchester's 3rd representative is freshman Democrat Sean Patrick Maloney, a former advisor to Bill Clinton, who was elected in 2012, defeating Republican incumbent Nan Hayworth. However, Westchester is less Democratic in state and local elections. For instance, it voted for Republican George Pataki by a margin of 23.07% against Democratic candidate Kyle McCall in the gubernatorial race of 2002, and by 26.22% in 1998. Pataki hails from Westchester, where he previously served as mayor of Peekskill prior to being elected governor. Former county executive Andrew Spano is just the 2nd Democrat to hold the post in at least a half-century. In 2006, county legislator Andrea Stewart Cousins defeated 20-year incumbent Nicholas Spano for a seat in the New York State Senate in a rematch of the 2004 race, which she had lost by only 18 votes. His brother, Assemblymember Mike Spano, switched parties in July 2007 to become a Democrat. Current District Attorney Janet DiFiore also switched parties from Republican to Democrat in August 2007. In 2009, Republican Rob Astrino ousted 3-term county executive Andy Spano, who had the endorsement of the New York Conservative Party, winning in a landslide. Astrino became the first Republican county executive since Andrew O'Rourke left the post in 1997. In 2011, the GOP broke the Democratic 2/3 majority in the county legislature by picking up 2 seats. The current composition is 10 Democrats to 7 Republicans. Westchester County was the home of U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, who occupied the Kikuit Mansion near the hamlet of Pocantico Hills. The county is also home to U.S. President Bill Clinton and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who live in Chappaqua. Former First Lady Barbara Bush grew up in Rye. Education. Westchester County contains 48 public school districts, 118 private college preparatory and parochial schools, and 14 colleges and universities. Many public and private high schools are continuously ranked among the best in New York State and the United States.